NVIDIA has just surprise announced the brand new RTX 5050, which finally brings us the first true budget NVIDIA GPU in over 3 years. But is this card going to be a new entry-level champion, or is it instead going to be yet another 50 series GPU that suffers from poor launch reviews, VRAM issues, and availability problems? Let's talk about it. Now, while the RTX 5050 has been rumoured on and off for a little while, I was surprised, as were most media, to see it announced yesterday. Unlike is often the case, there was no pre-release comms from NVIDIA, and they've kept pretty quiet. I found out about it, like most of you guys, the moment the news went public. It's going to clock in at a $249 MSRP, draw a very modest 130 watts of power, and feature 8GB of last generation's GDDR6 memory. It's built onto the same architecture as the rest of the 50 series lineup, NVIDIA's Blackwell, and features 2,560 CUDA cores. This is quite a bit less than the 3,840 found on the RTX 5060 by comparison, representing around a 33% less powerful GPU core. There's also an RTX 5050 laptop variant launching. Contrary to the GDDR6 you'll find on the RTX 5050 desktop, this has the newer and faster GDDR7 memory. This might seem a cynical move from NVIDIA, but is likely explained based on the extra power efficiency found in GDDR7 and the positive impact this has in a laptop-based form factor. Now, we've gone ahead and made up some approximations as to how the desktop 5050 is likely to perform, based on the specs NVIDIA have given us. But before looking at our predictions, I want to talk about pricing and memory, because I think they're both a big deal on this card. The RTX 5050 is actually the first GPU from NVIDIA to launch with a sub $250 MSRP in more than 3 years. It launches for the same price as the RTX 3050 did, which landed in Jan of 2023, and with prices adjusted for inflation, the 5050 is actually cheaper than the 3050 comparatively speaking. Compared to the other competition, the ARC B570 comes in with a $219 MSRP, though that's rarely been seen in reality, while last gen's AMD RX 7600 comes in for $269. Now, for many people, $249 might not seem very budget, but it's undoubtedly the cheapest card we've seen from AMD or NVIDIA in years. The RX 6600, which is commonly regarded as a budget champ, launched for a whopping $330 in October of 2021. And perhaps controversially, I think that $249 is actually a quite competitive price for a GPU when you consider a modern Ryzen 5 9600X is going to cost you at least $200 on its own. It's the same reason the B580, which launched for $249, has seen rave reviews. I also want to be clear that for a lot of gamers, especially in emerging markets, the $50 price reduction versus the 5060 is a big deal. To lots of us fortunate enough to build high-end gaming PCs, £45 or $50 might not seem like a huge amount. But for many people, that $50 will be the difference between a system they can afford to build and one they simply can't. Now, of course, I would love to have seen this launch for even less money, say sub $200, but I'm not sure how realistic that is in the current market, and I'd rather NVIDIA pitch this at a level where it can actually be bought than one that's just never going to see the light of day. I also want to talk about memory, because I can already see NVIDIA getting stick for this. Now, I'm the first to complain about VRAM. I don't think the 5070 really has as much as it should, and the 8GB 5060 Ti is a disgrace when you consider we got 12 gigs on a 3 or 4 year old RTX 3060. But I think 8GB of VRAM on the RTX 5050 is the right call. And I also think dropping down to last generation's GDDR6 memory standard is just fine. It's not going to have a major performance impact at 1080p, and it's what AMD are using on all of their RX 9000 series lineup so far. NVIDIA might claim the RTX 5060 isn't designed for 1440p gaming, but it has the power to do it. The RTX 5050 is likely to be a different story, and as such, for me, 8 gigs is appropriate. Now then, here's the big one. How is this card actually going to perform? Now, until I get the card physically here, we don't really know, but we can use the 33% reduction in CUDA cores to make a good educated guess. These results are likely to be skewed on the basis they assume a few things: the use of GDDR7 memory, which we know isn't the case on the 5050, and the fact, of course, that CUDA cores alone aren't the only difference between one GPU and another. Nevertheless, a crude guess with our graphs gives us the following. Cyberpunk at 1080p rasterization would fall in at around the 81 FPS mark. This would be very low and put it below the RTX 3060. Apex Legends at 1080p high would land in at about 199, using our power settings, which would put it in the region of the B580 and B570, but with less performance than a 4060 or last gen RX 7600. Hogwarts Legacy would see the RTX 5050 at around 84 FPS, more than the B570 and less than the B580, while Black Ops 6 would see the 5050 marginally beat out the B580, but fall short to the 4060 and 3060. Now, the above numbers assume completely linear scaling and aren't a sure bet in terms of real-world performance. NVIDIA has kind of helped us with this by producing some performance graphs, though rather unhelpfully from Team Green, they again tend to compare apples to oranges, whereby the RTX 5050 has DLSS 4 and multi-frame gen on, and the 3050 does not, with of course it not supporting this newer technology. In Cyberpunk and Avowed, this looks okay, as the MFG numbers are around 4 times as high as the 3050. That would indicate good rasterization, but Marvel's Rivals seems to show a much smaller performance uplift, relatively speaking. The rasterization numbers at the bottom though are a welcome addition, so good work NVIDIA. A reported 240-ish FPS in Apex at 1080p high would place it a good chunk ahead of the 3050 and potentially in striking distance of last gen's 4060. It should be noted NVIDIA's settings here seem to be quite a bit different than ours, with their numbers a lot better at 1080p than what we have in our old comparative cards. The same seems to be true in Counter-Strike and Overwatch, which both show around a 30% performance uplift versus the 3050. Now for me, the RTX 5050 needs to be knocking on the door of the last gen 4060 in order to be a really compelling buy. It's undoubtedly going to have a higher cost per frame than the budget ARC cards from Intel, with the B570 in particular being a prime candidate for direct competition at a lower or comparable price. But NVIDIA know people will pay more for Team Green. They know features like MFG and ray tracing sell, even if for people like us it might not be that important. Just check out the latest Steam hardware survey. Yes, demand for AMD GPUs and Team Red sales have been higher than ever, but the data shows they're just not making a dent to NVIDIA for gamers. Ultimately, we'll have to wait and see as to how the 5050 performs. But honestly, I welcome a budget GPU from NVIDIA and would preemptively say to anyone who says, just buy a 5060 or 8GB 9060 XT for just $50 more, that I think you might just be missing the whole point. I built this channel back in the day on budget build guides that loads of you guys could afford to assemble, and it's made me pretty upset since then that we haven't been in an environment where that's been possible at all. AMD, who used to be the real champion for budget gaming, have been nowhere to be seen in years, and while the 5050 is no means a surefire smash hit, I'm pleased to see NVIDIA bring us something, anything for the budget gamer, and I think we deserve to give NVIDIA a fair stab at what looks like it could be a compelling budget GPU, especially when you consider that here in the UK in particular, NVIDIA availability for MSRP across their whole lineup has been very good. Buying an ARC card or comparative AMD GPU for its MSRP has been a harder task. And as such, NVIDIA might just be on for a winner with the 5050. As long as they don't screw this one up again, which they've done a lot recently, I'm trying to be optimistic and trying to be positive, and I think the 5050 could have a solid chance for budget gamers. We'll have to wait and see.